Welcome to Yogaxpress, your virtual stretch clinic that helps you move the body to still the mind. My name is Banu, Suresh. I'm your host for this program. We have a little surprise for you. After a couple of weeks, we have a teacher by popular demand. We've brought her back on the show, Julia Monosova, to my right. Julia has a hidden aspect to her, so I really needed to scoop that out of her in this episode. So she's here today in our live episode 535, if I remember the episode number correctly. We've taped 530 episodes with not a single negative incident. We're very excited to reintroduce Julia Monosova. Before Julia even says a single word, I would like to thank our crew, Jabari Osaze and Josiane Hurd. Thank you so much to both of you for holding the fort for us. And Richard Swanson, thanks to Richard for the studio setups, the studio lights, and the sound system right here. Body music, opening music is from Sapta Tandavam. Body music has been created just for Yogaxpress by Cesar De Para. You'll hear the body music in just a moment, but right now we are still in the opening track of Sapta Tandavam. Yogaxpress airs Monday through Friday on Time Warner 57, RCN 84, and FiOS 35 at 1:30 in the afternoon. For a couple of months, just on an experimental basis, we are going live on Mondays. We hope to continue, so feel free, call in 212-757-1393 with any questions you have, especially for our special guests. So today the topic would be constipation, you said? Is. And Julia is also a nutrition expert. She is humble enough to say she's not certified as a nutritionist, but she has a lot of answers, so please consult with her. I'm sure she has a lot of answers for you as well. Plus, she is a certified yoga teacher. Julia, just a quick recap. I know you have a lot of experience teaching yoga. You've been teaching in different places. What are the different you don't have to name the schools, but where are the different schools that you've taught?
They are located in different cities and even in different countries.
Right.
I taught in New York, I taught in Los Angeles, and I taught in Ukraine.
Okay,
so far,
right,
yes.
right. And you speak Sanskrit. Well, you understand Sanskrit. You studied it, did you?
Yes, I did.
You just have a natural affinity for Sanskrit.
Yes,
That was amazing. It was amazing. When I heard that, I said, I'm going to have this girl on the show because I've not seen many people. I'm out of touch with Sanskrit. I know I have my basic vocabulary, and Sanskrit is not a spoken language, right? So it's very hard. So it was really lovely. The last time you quoted something in Sanskrit, it was nice to hear that.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit, what do you have planned for us today?
Okay, today, since we're talking about one of the hottest health-related topics, which is constipation, we will talk a little bit about diet, proper diet,
Sure.
to prevent this problem, and then we'll go into special yoga sequence for people who are suffering from this ailment.
Right. So how would you identify, for the sake of our viewers who have not watched us before, how do they recognize if they're constipated?
According to doctors, they say if your bowel movement is less than 3 times a week, then you're constipated. I personally think if you miss a day, it's already constipation.
Right. Oh, you're absolutely right. That is so, each person is different. For instance, I tend to eat many small meals in the day. So I actually go at least 3 or 4 times a day.
Yes, ideally to empty your bowel after each, as many meals you have, as many times
exactly.
you have.
Yes. So for me, if I don't go 3 times a day, I feel that I'm constipated. So I guess but some people only go twice a week. So for them, if that is normal, then I guess. But 3, I mean, it sounds too little, 2 times a week. But once a day makes sense. Okay, so tell us a little more.
Okay, so I personally think, as I said before, as many times the food comes inside of you, this many times, it should leave your body. But again, everybody is
I like that.
different.
You have such a common sense approach to it.
I think it just logically.
Absolutely, go on.
So that is the proper movement of your bowel. And so essentially, what is constipation? It is some sort of blockage inside of your digestive system. So in order to remove that blockage, yoga helps a lot, since we use a lot of bends, forward and backward bends and twists that help the body to get rid of toxins, first of all, because the internal organs get squeezed.
Nice massage,
Yes, great. It's like internal massage.
Right, so other than someone giving me a punch in the gut, that's one way of getting a massage, right?
That's totally true. Yes, and for example, when we are twisting, we're squeezing our internal organs, the toxins get released into the bloodstream. And it's very, very important after yoga session always to drink a big glass of warm water to flush out those toxins.
Ah, okay.
That's very important. And
no, go on. I just can't. I have so many questions already. You're describing it so beautifully. Go on.
Thank you. And also, it's preferably not to eat for about 4 hours before yoga, and ideally to do yoga on empty stomach in the morning.
That's why people insist that first thing in the morning, because we assume that people don't get up in the middle of the night and eat, because there are people who get up in the middle of the night and they eat.
Yes.
Okay, so these are the physical symptoms. Are there any psychological symptoms? The reason I ask that, we believe in the school, and I think you trained with in the same lineage as I did, Sivananda, but we believe that the two main ailments that are cause of all other ailments are constipation, which relates to the body, and hypertension that relates to the mind. Because of these, people develop all kinds of ailments. So are there any psychological effects in constipation? For instance, some people, when they're constipated, other than bad bowel movements, some people may break out, I don't know, they get stressed, yes, that's one, but also they get irritable. There are all kinds of, are there other symptoms?
Yes, the body and mind are interlaced. So the thing is, once something happens in your mind, for example, once you experience certain negative emotions like fear, the whole digestive system shuts down. That's why the food doesn't move in, and this can create constipation. But on the other hand, because the connection goes back and forth, if you are constipated, it definitely will raise certain negative emotions.
Right, you're right. What about depression? Is that an attribute of constipation? If someone's constipated, do they feel depressed?
I think it can be, it can add to it, but also some medication, antidepressants, they can, as a side effect, they have constipation.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So
it can be caused by medication that's taken for one cause, and you might end up with a kind of a side effect, as you say.
And
are there food? I'm sorry.
That's fine. And there are food that will help you. There are foods that will help you with that. So
I believe we have a caller, but okay, go ahead. Caller? No, we don't hear you yet. Go ahead, once we hear it in the studio.
So what is important in your diet, it should be high in fiber, which means you have to eat plenty of vegetables, fruit, which are local and in season, and grains and beans. Those should be main food groups that people should consume on regular basis. And then constipation, you can forget about it.
Right.
And also a liquid intake, drinking lots of water. Eating soups, like liquid food, helps a lot.
Did we get the caller through just yet? We don't hear the caller in the studio. Okay, so when the call comes through, because... go ahead.
Hello?
Yes, do we have a caller?
Hi.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm really enjoying your show.
Thank you.
I've had problems with constipation in the past, and I was just wondering, is it healthier for me to do yoga and some of the stretching you're talking about, or is it just healthier for me to for example, get something like X-Lax or one of the over-the-counter medicines? I'll hang up and listen. Thank you.
There's a lot of feedback, but what you're asking is it better to prevent a constipated state, correct? Through yoga?
I think he asked whether it's better to use medication
or yoga.
I think.
Go ahead.
So definitely yoga is number one, and the medicine should be the last thing you could use. Otherwise, because your body once it gets used to your medication, then it becomes lazy.
True, and it won't respond.
Won't respond. Peristaltic system will get lazy, and just you will become dependent.
Right.
So all medicine will kind of develop
So
that
as far as
tendency.
possible, stop the intake from what Julia says. And you're a nutrition expert too. So what about foods? You talked about spinach. Greens.
Oh, spinach. Actually, Ayurvedic doctors, they always recommend sauteed spinach. If you have constipation, saute it with olive oil and a little bit of garlic. That helps a lot. And just everything that contains a lot of fiber, which is vegetables, fruit, grains, and beans.
Hey, Carla, I'm so glad you called because that is a perfect question. The only thing, spinach with garlic, you're going to lose a couple of friends, but you know what? You're going to stay in good health. So I think that's a great idea. So do you have a website?
I do. It is Julia Monosova, my first and last name, .com.
Every now and then, you're going to see Julia's details on the bottom left of the screen. Please stay in touch with her. She's adding more pages every day, and I think you will soon have constipation or ailment-related recipes and food programs as well. So thank you for calling. For those of you who want to stay in touch with us, 212-757-1393. Go ahead. That was great. I really enjoyed the question as well as your answer.
Thank you. And so now I think we can move forward and go into our stretches. So I think one of the best stretches for people who suffer from constipation will be sun salutations. It's actually a warm-up sequence that uses a lot of forward and backward bends. And today, to our traditional sun salutations routine, we will add a few postures that will affect abdominal area. And
Can I get a six-pack?
You don't need
Nice
it.
tight abs. Stay happy with my 10-pack.
As one of Ayurvedic doctors that I was studying with, he said 6 packs means it's tension in your body.
It is,
He
I'm
said
sure.
yogic muscles are those that when you press, they should be strong as iron, but when they are relaxed, they should be soft like butter.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful.
So 6 packs it's just
Not really
tension.
required.
Yes.
And you have a good point because sometimes we do get personal trainers on the show who also believe in yoga, and he says exactly the same thing. If you just tighten the front, you also need to stretch parts of the body, so you can't just tighten.
Definitely.
I think you know what? I'm looking forward to your breathing. You did promise some breathing, so maybe either today or next time. But go ahead.
Okay, so plant your feet into the floor, distribute your weight evenly on both feet, engage your kneecaps, tuck your pelvis under, open your chest, shoulders down, chin parallel to the floor. This is our starting pose for sun salutations. Inhale and exhale, palms together. Inhale, arms up, arch back slightly, pushing your hips forward. Keep your arms aligned with your ears. And exhale, reach forward and down. Inhale, half lift, and exhale, forward bend, hands on the floor, forehead reaching towards the knees. If you cannot reach the floor with with your hands, please feel free to bend your knees. And now inhale, right leg back, all the way back, right knee down, look up, arch back. Take a few deep breaths here. And as you inhale and exhale, straighten the left.
Still thinking of the abdominal soft as butter. It's really great for breathing.
And it's any muscle,
Right.
when it's flexed, it should be strong like iron. When it's relaxed, it should be soft like butter. And now bending over the left leg, stretching the left hamstring. Inhale, knee over the heel, look
That's another
up.
reason why I mentioned breathing, because in breathing you need to have very relaxed muscles, right?
Definitely. Otherwise, it's very hard to breathe. And again, bending forward.
I love the way your forehead is almost to your toe.
Inhale, head up. Tuck your right toes under and bring your left foot back, coming into inverted V pose or down facing. dog. Feet about 1 foot apart. The tailbone is reaching up like a top of a pyramid. The heels are reaching down. Hands are pressed into the floor. Palms, fingers widely spread apart. Shoulders away from the ears. And slowly start bending your knees, pedaling your feet. Breathe deeply, and you can add a gentle twist here as you bend the right knee, a twist to the left, and then slowly switch.
That's very unique. I've never tried this.
Yeah,
Very
and it
smart.
feels really good.
Is that a Julia Monosova variation?
Kind of.
I like it.
I'm sure somebody came up with it before, just not that common. Heels down to the floor. Inhale and shift your shoulders. Bring your shoulders over the hands.
Okay, I'm gonna have to adjust my shirt.
And exhale, knees to touch the floor. Keep your hips up. Chest touching the floor between your hands and chin to the floor. Your elbows should be pointing up. The toes curled under. And as you inhale, slide forward, arch back, point your toes. And here you want to be in a low cobra, just to have some pressure on your abdominal muscles, on your abdominal organs, since this is the topic of today. And now inhale and exhale, look over the right shoulder, slowly, and come back to center. Inhale and exhale, look over the left shoulder and back to center. Press through the hands and push your hips up, coming into a cat and cow pose. Hands directly beneath the shoulders, knees directly beneath the hips. And you can tuck your toes under here if you'd like, or you can keep your feet flat. And we will start. Look up, the tailbone is up, contracting the spine. And as you exhale, push your spine up, stretching the spine, chin in, hips
Oh, this
forward.
feels good.
Yes,
I
love
needed
it.
that.
Inhale, look up, tailbone up, and exhale. Chin in, hips forward, stretching the spine, increasing the space between the vertebrae. And now bring your big toes to touch and push your hips down slowly on your heels and slide your hands forward and forehead to the floor. Take a few deep breaths here. The tailbone is reaching to the floor behind you and the hands are pressing into the floor, so you are still stretching your back here. And now inhale and come up onto your
Oh, do I have to?
sitting.
Feels so good after
I
that.
know.
It's very nicely paced. So the sun salutation closes as we seated?
No, it's.
Oh, we're still going.
Still
Okay.
doing because we're adding a few more asanas into it. Just
okay,
to.
great.
And so now bring your hands behind you, slightly behind, fingertips pointing forward, knees to touch, and toes to touch too. And inhale, push your hips up and arch back gently. It's a camel pose.
Oh, okay.
And exhale, slowly come down. And hands in front of you on the floor. Tuck your toes under, come back into down facing dog. Take a few deep breaths here, stretching the backs of your legs. And inhale, bring the right leg forward between the hands. Look up, arch back. And now inhale, bring your chest up, arms out to the sides, and join your palms together above the head, lengthening up, sinking your hips down.
I think some schools call this posture moon salutation. Is that what you have?
Different schools,
Right, they have
different
different names,
yes,
right.
different names for the same thing. So we'll just bring you, the hands back to the heart center, and now we will twist to the right, placing the left elbow over the right thigh. Look up, keeping your chest open, breathing deeply and sinking your hips a little bit more, feeling the twist. And inhale, come back to center. Hands by your sides. Tuck your left toes under. Inhale and exhale, bring the foot forward, forehead to the knees. Inhale, coming up into a half lift. Exhale, down. Inhale, reach forward, up and back. Exhale, arms by your sides. Now we'll start with the left foot, and we'll add a little bit more variations. We'll do a twisted pose in the middle of some salutation. Inhale, exhale, palms together. Inhale, arms up, arch back, keep your hips forward. And exhale, bend forward, bending at the hips, forehead to the knees. Inhale, half lift. And exhale, deep down. Inhale, left leg back, left knee down, look up, arch back. Inhale and exhale, straightening the right leg, stretching the right hamstring, bending over the right leg. Inhale, come up. And exhale once again, stretching the right leg. Inhale, come up. Tuck the left toes under and bring the right foot back into down facing dog. Breathe deeply, and again we'll start pedaling the feet. And if you feel comfortable, you can add a twist to it. Very gentle twist. Remember that in yoga, whatever you do should feel comfortable and enjoyable. There should be no pain.
All right, I'm changing my shirt.
And now bring your shoulders over your hands and exhale.
Sorry about that.
Knees touching the floor, chest touching the floor, and chin. Keep your hips up. Inhale, slide forward, arch back. The lower abdomen is touching the floor. Inhale and exhale, look over the right shoulder. Inhale, back to center. Exhale, look over the left shoulder. Back to center. And now press through your hands, push your hips up and back into child pose. Toes together, big toes to touch. Forehead to the floor for a moment. Take one deep breath. And slowly come up to sitting. We'll do a twist here. Sit to the right. Straighten your legs in front of you. Left foot across. Flat on the floor. Left hand behind. Inhale, right arm up, lengthening up. And as you exhale, lower the right arm down. Press against the left knee and look over the left shoulder. And as you inhale, lengthening through the top of your head. As you exhale, twisting further. Few more times.
Why does it feel so good every time we twist? It does feel amazing.
Because maybe the toxins get released finally. And the body is just grateful to you.
Right.
So that's why
So
I
it's
get
my
those
body saying thank
sensation.
you.
Yes. And come back to center and switch the legs. Now right goes above the left, across. Right hand behind. Inhale, left arm up, lengthening up, and exhale, down. Look over the right shoulder. Lengthening up as you inhale and twisting as you exhale. And now come back to center. Bend your knees, sitting on your heels, hands in front of you. Tuck your toes under, push your hips up. Inhale, left leg forward. Look up, arch back, find your balance here. Arms out to the side, slowly. Breathing your arms up, palms together, lengthening up and sinking your hips down. And hands down to the heart. Inhale and exhale, another twist. Right elbow over the left knee. Breathing comfortably here and come back down. Hands on the floor. Inhale and exhale, right leg forward, forehead to the knees. And inhale, reach forward with your arms. Come on, arch back slightly. And exhale, arms by your sides. And now we'll go into supine position. So arms up in front of you. Slowly start bending your knees.
Well, we are in there. I'd like to tell our viewers, if you want to call in, 212-757-1393 every Monday, 1:30 to 2. Today's guest, we have a couple of minutes. I want to close before we actually close. Julia Monosova is a wellness guide and a yoga teacher, and as you can see, extremely well-paced. So stay with us.
And so we'll do a few stretches, lying flat on the back. Inhale, right leg up. Slowly keep both legs straight and feet flexed. Reach behind the right thigh and very gently pull it towards the chest. Very gently, feeling the stretch in the hamstring. And now bend your knee, hug the leg into the chest. It's called a wind relieving posture, so please be aware of that.
It might have a few extra sounds out there.
Sound effects. And now extend the right arm at your shoulder level, flat on the floor, and left hand over the right knee and twist to the left and turn your head to the right.
While we're pausing here for a few seconds, Julia, I'd like to acknowledge our crew, Jabari Osaze and Josiane Hurd, and Richard Swanson, our facilitator. Thank you so much for carrying us through. On behalf of our special guest, Julia Monosova, this is Banu Suresh. Signing off, you are watching Yogaxpress.
And come back. And release the leg down. And opposite side. Left leg up. Reach behind, pulling it towards your chest, breathing deeply, and now bending the knee.
And if they've had the spinach with garlic, this is not a good posture.
Or maybe they can have it without garlic. It also
I love
works.
garlic, no problem.
And now twist and bring your knee to the right. And the left arm is extended and pressing into the floor. Take one deep breath and come back to center. And now I don't know if we have more time or not, but
Probably about 30 seconds.
we'll go
keep
into a
going.
happy baby pose.
Oh, yeah.
So grab hold of your ankles, knees as wide as you can. And if you can reach your feet, you can hold on to your feet and just very gently pressing your knees towards the floor. And you can rock from side to side here. It's a great hip opening pose, but it's also very beneficial for people with constipation since it creates some pressure in your abdominal area. And just rocking from side to side. And from here, you can bring the soles of your feet to touch. Hold on to your ankles or
No
to your
wonder
feet.
babies never complain about constipation.
Right?
They're always in that posture, happy baby.
Yeah, they're natural yogis. And so pulling your feet towards
I've
your
seen babies
chest.
in happy baby, in downward dog, all kinds of posture. You never think about it. I'm sorry, go on. I'm enjoying this so much.
And now bringing your feet down and stretching your legs out and relax. It's always nice to go into a deep relaxation for a few minutes after you are done with your yoga routine.